Hey everyone, it's Spicy Sushi. So a lot of people have been asking what is a fast, cheap build that they can farm natural harvest with at this point in the league. Now, if you're not familiar with the channel, basically when I say natural harvest, I mean just a basic harvest that you normally would find in your map outside of using the Sacred Grove Sextant. Now, finding harvest naturally in your map is actually a very cheap way to farm harvest because the Sacred Grove Sextant that I refer to a lot of the time usually costs anywhere between 1 to 3 exalts in a league, which can put your harvest costs up to, you know, zero point 0.4 all the way up to even point like 0.75 of an exalt some leagues. Now, for people that are very experienced in harvest, this is actually not an incredibly high cost. But for people that are kind of newer and are scared to jump into high investment, natural harvest farming is actually very cheap and a great way to learn how to do harvest, because this is how I usually make my multiple mirrors at the start of a league that kind of smooths out the rest of the league, and I can buy anything I want with it after the first couple of weeks. Now, there are generally two approaches that you would go about farming natural harvest. Now, some people do just they basically will get Maven Alice passives in Haywork Hamlet. Like, they'll farm Essence, they'll be farming Ritual, and they'll just get Harvest if it pops up with a normal build. But what you are watching right now is what would be considered a Harvest runner. Now, this build boasts about almost 600% movement speed, and it is made simply to go into a scoured map, find the harvest, and do the harvest and get out. And if there's no harvest, you just run a circle around the map like you're seeing right now, and you get out as well. Now, this build was actually designed by Mr. Khan. Mr. Khan is a good friend of mine, and he is one of the top lab runners in Path of Exile. These builds that he makes specialize in incredible movement speed in order to get to the end of the the labyrinth, like whether it be Gift of the Goddess or a regular Uber lab at the start of a league, and just farm enchants for lots of money. And I went to him at the beginning of this league, and he was able to make a build. We sat down in Discord, and he took time out of his day to make a really, really strong build for Harvest. It's just a basic Toxic Rain character that stacks evasion for Queen of the Forest, but also plugs in some lab runner tech such as permanent berserk through stacking lots of mana regeneration rate on gear, which you get through essences, and then just running a lethal pride. I will go over the entire path of building later, and there's going to be, it'll be linked in the description. I'll have a Google sheet with trade links if you want to play this build. If you're not a fan of Toxic Rain, this, it does not have to be Toxic Rain, but this is, we decided to keep it simple for everyone because it's like a lot of new players do want to try Natural Harvest running because it is much less annoying than doing, than normally Natural Harvest running, because people complain that they go 20 maps dry, they wasted their whole day trying to find one harvest. Well, this, you see Genome, he's doing like, Genome, the guy who sent me these video clips, he's doing these maps in like 19 seconds sometimes. He is blowing through maps. If he gets an unlucky streak with Harvest, it does not matter. And maps are only like 2 chaos that he's buying right now because everyone's just dropping tons of maps this league. So it is really no issue to burn through maps. And it is a preferred playstyle for a lot of people. Now, the benefit over doing this method actually is not only the low cost, but also you get to effectively use 4 Platinum Mature Watchstones, which are the strongest Watchstones in the game for farming Harvest. Do never use Overripe, and you can use Bountiful if you're in a budget position, but always stack as many Matures as possible is what I say. Now, if you do the Sacred Grove Sextant, you can't use 4 Mature Watchstones usually, because you have to use a unique Watchstone in place of a mature in order to have the Sacred Grove Sextant. But with this method, you can have 4 Mature Watchstones for maximum value out of your harvest, and you don't have to worry about going dry because harvest is usually a 1 in 6 chance with the passive. So we're looking at about 12 chaos per harvest if you're 2 chaos each, and 3 times 6, 18 chaos per harvest if you are paying like 3 chaos each for your maps. But yeah, so there is that. And let's go ahead and jump into the PoB so I can go over the build a little bit more with you. Alright, so we're just going to take a look at the PoB really quick. It's a very basic Toxic Rain build. We're going to notice very early that it is very squishy. This is a very squishy build. We can head over to PoB. We're looking at 12.7k effective hit pool and these, but that is why we were doing scoured maps. There is really no point in alking your harvest. Harvest monsters are already pretty difficult, and we're going to be doing you want to be harvest running in like tier 9 to tier 12 scoured normally, so it's going to be incredibly easy. You have about 2.4 mil DPS with your ballista totems down, so you really should have no issue at all doing these maps. That being said, this is a very specialized build. This is not meant for higher level content. This is only meant to speedrun Harvest. Genome, who's been doing this build the entire time in the league that he played, he made multiple mirrors with this, and he had no issues. As we saw in the clips, the monsters do take some time to die, but as long as you're moving around, you should really not have an issue because of how fast you are. Now, an important note, the cluster is very important. I do not really feel bad at this point in the league for telling people to buy stuff like this. If this were a league starter, obviously I would be hesitant about including a cluster in a PoB, but we are, a month into the league now. So, but as you see, our DPS 2.4 mil, 1.1. It is incredibly important that you set up this cluster. I think anyone who plays Toxic Rain knows that clusters really do carry the build. But basically, just follow the PoB as it's in the description. It's meant for a little bit of life. We do run 3.9, but we have, with our damage setup, we have 400% increase. This is about 500% movement speed. That is because of the Lethal Pride Akoya. You want to make sure you have the Lethal Pride Akoya. You put it right here. You take Chainbreaker. And yeah, if you're having an issue when you're actually fighting the monsters with maintaining your rage, just take it out. Just take it out and you won't have those issues. But that being said, you will need to turn off one of your auras. Now, you can turn off Purity if you're res capped, you can turn off Malevolence if you feel like you have enough damage, or you can turn off Grace when you get into the Harvest. It's either one of those. It does not matter because you won't have enough mana in order to run it. But when you want to map run, you're going to switch off of the basic Toxic Rainbow and wear 2 Ichimangis. And these 2 Ichimangis are going to put us at 550% increased movement speed. That is absurd, and that is the movement speed we were watching in the videos, and so that's going to make it very easy for you. But yeah, very basic tree. I will have trade links to everything. The basic Toxic Rainbow is very easy to make at this point in the league. It's very easy to buy in general. It really does not cost much. We have Chaos Multi on gloves. You can make this yourself through a few basic Chaos More Common reforges and Craft Life. Just make sure you are res capped. We have the 7 league step here just for more movement speed. If you want more res or life, you can just switch to like a series step or something. But like I said, the content we're doing with this build is an absolute joke. The gear is terrible. So the ring, this is just basic essences. I believe misery essences are. I will have it in the Google sheet to clarify. But yeah, this is a blue pearl amulet with our essenced mana regen, ring with essenced mana regen, crafted life, essenced mana regen, crafted life. This puts you at enough mana regeneration to sustain rage, even when really attacking the harvest mobs. If you don't have enough mana regen, you will just have to make sure you take out your Lethal Pride and turn off an aura, so that you have enough mana to kill the monsters. But either way, that'll be it, guys. And like I said, in the description will be the Google sheet, the PoB, and you can ask any questions about the build in the comments as well. So yeah, thank you guys. Hey again, and just as an outro to the video, I would like to thank you. And just as an outro to the video, I would like to say thank you so much to the patrons who have decided to support me over on my Patreon page, which is in the description. You guys are what make it possible for me to be full-time currently. Becoming a patron is one of the best ways to support my content, and if you are a tier 2 plus patron, you will gain access to all of my harvest spreadsheets and tools, which I update around 2 times per month. I will be doing a Mirror from Harvest challenge very soon on Twitch, and highlights will be on YouTube. And so if you would like to follow along with the bases that I will be using for my own challenge, all of the information that I have is in those tools. So anyway, thank you guys so much for your support, and I will see you in the next one.